Hello everyone, I'm your host Mariana and you're listening to A Degree Farther, the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we feature current students, alumni and faculty who are innovators on our campus and in our community. On this episode, I'm speaking with Gabby Guiza, who is currently the Graduate Student Association President. Gabby, who is originally from Colombia, is a student in the Environmental Biology program, earning her second master's degree after completing her first in Biomedical Science here at Hood College in May 2022. Hi, Gabby. Thank you so much for being here today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your current program and your role as the Graduate Student Association President.
Of course. So my name is Maria Gabriela, but I actually prefer to go by Gabby, and I am currently a candidate in the Environmental Biology Master's Program here at Hood College. And of course, I am also the president of the Graduate Student Association. And well, my role is basically to connect the graduate students to Hood College or the graduate school here at Hood College and kind of just be that middle bridge to advocate for all students in all the different masters.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So I understand that this is your second master's degree at Hood, your first being in biomedical science. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you think that these two masters work together and why did you want to earn your second master?
Yeah, of course. So I actually am mostly interested in microbiology. And with my extensive background in biomedical science, I did have a lot of upper level courses in microbiology and virology, and like molecular biology, just learning the whole mechanisms of the cells. But I've also always been very interested in the environment and specifically water and water treatment. So I'm hoping to marry these two masters kind of in the middle with microbiology and wastewater surveillance, which I think is just so cool. And if you don't mind, I'll talk a little bit about it. Actually, I got really interested in this because, we just came out of a pandemic with COVID-19, and the CDC actually launched a wastewater surveillance program. So this is, all of us as human beings, we use the bathroom. But then what happens to that water after we flush? It actually goes through a long journey and a lot of processes and a lot of treatment to make sure that it is safe or deemed safe enough to be released back into the environment. But another factor that goes into this is actually studying the microbes that we find in wastewaters before before they go through all the treatment, everything, just gathering samples to get information about the population. So the CDC started this wastewater surveillance to kind of provide an early warning of COVID-19 spread in different communities. So that way we could study the viral particles found in the wastewater, because we shed viral particles, kind of like how animals change their fur and they shed a lot of hair. We shed viruses and other microbes, and we can actually learn a lot about communities and populations from studying wastewater. And I just think that is so cool. And right now I'm actually looking for internships, but hopefully I'll get something. And my goal is to go into wastewater treatment or surveillance as a job once I graduate.
Wow, that sounds amazing. It's very, very interesting to hear you and I hope you get that internship.
Thank you.
Um, so in addition to working on your second master's, you are the president of the Graduate Student Association, which is great. Can you tell us a little bit more about what does that entail?
Of course. It's actually a lot more than I thought. Like in the surface level, it's of course just being a voice for the graduate students, making sure that they are heard, making sure that they're doing okay, or that if they need more support, that there is someone there to advocate for them. And then that's where I come in. So I'm kind of that middleman that connects the students to the graduate school, so just Hood College or Hood College in general, to make sure that um, all the graduate students in all the different master's programs feel comfortable. They feel like they are well supported by the school, and if they're not, then I am that person that they can go to, someone approachable, that someone that's also a student that they feel comfortable coming to, kind of like telling their concerns or asking for help, so that I can later go to the graduate school here at Hood College and just kind of relay the message on the things that maybe we could do better to support students or to keep students more engaged and everything of that sort. Because of that, I also am in charge of planning monthly events for the graduate students, just to make sure that we are all coming together as a community here in Hood College so that we can be connected and interact with one another, because sometimes it's hard to meet new people if you are in a different master's program, because we're all kind of like in the same building all semester. So as a science student, I'm always in Hudson. However, I know a lot of, for example, counseling students that only stay in Tatum, which is right next to the library, which I had no idea about because as a science student, I don't have classes over there. And as counselor, masters, graduate students, they don't come to Hudson a lot. So I kind of just want to make sure that I break those barriers and give up graduate students the opportunity to interact with one another outside of, let's say, like the classroom environment. Still in a you know school environment, but not so specific to everyone's master's program, so that we can create a better and stronger community of graduate students.
Yeah, that's amazing, and it's really important. One thing that I really highlight about the Hood College is this community that you can feel as soon as you enter, and even before you enter to study here. And it's amazing. It's amazing the role that you're doing, and I think it's very important for the health of the people that is here, like mental health and the warmth and the support, because it's always hard to study the graduate programs, and it's amazing that you're doing this. Um, so how students can be involved in the programs, and how they can reach you, or how they can know about you. And also I would like to know what kind of activities you do in these programs that you make.
Yeah, of course. So if people want to reach me, they can reach me directly at my email, which is gsa@hood.edu, or they can also follow us on social media platforms. Um, so our Instagram is at Hood GSA, and the same handle is for use for our Twitter and our Facebook group. So we kind of try to reach a little bit of all social medias to make sure that we still connected with everyone, no matter what platform you are more comfortable with. And some of the activities that we do, well, actually, for example, the next activity we have is Friday, February 24, from 7 to 9, and we're going to do a game night. So I have invited all the graduate students just to, whoever can come, just to come and hang out here after school hours, after work, to kind of just de-wind and relax, play some board games, card games, or even Nintendo Switch games. I'm going to bring my Nintendo Switch from home just to make sure we provide enough games for all different people, whatever you like, we might have it. Also offer some pizza and drinks and just provide a nice environment where everyone can kind of network and hang out together. Last month we did a welcome donuts and coffee where you could just swing by, grab a donut, some coffee, or some hot chocolate, which was very popular, and just chat with us, chat with me and my team. I do have a vice president and a social media ambassador that helps me. And also just to talk about the other events that we're going to do throughout the semester. Not only do we have events for networking and just to kind of enjoy each other's company and hang out as graduate students, but we also try to include a lot of career enrichment events. So for example, this month we also paired with the library to do a Sotero workshop, which is an online free resource of software that you can get so that you can write citations or develop citations easier. As graduate students, we're always having to write papers. And I'm sure after we graduate, or if we're already working somewhere, you're going to have to write some sort of report, some sort of anything, whatever it is. So I think it's so important to be aware of all of these free resources that we have that we can use so that we can become better at whatever it is we're doing and be successful in our semester. In April, for example, we have planned a hike. We're waiting for the weather to warm up a little bit more. So we're planning a hike to go on and just be in nature, hang out together. Also discover Frederick. That's another thing that we wanted to push a little bit more, because I know a lot of students are busy in their own lives, or maybe they're international students and don't have a lot of people or family here and don't know Frederick because they're new to the area. So we also want to make sure that we include as much as we can all the wonderful things that there are to do in Frederick, because it's amazing. There's so much nature. There are so many different activities and celebrations. I know that last semester we also participated in the streets, which is a really cool thing that they do. They close the main streets downtown, and then there's all the different businesses have a little stand where you can go, walk, learn about everything that you can find in Frederick. So I thought that was amazing as well. And then at the end of the semester, we always try to do a one last meeting just to kind of throw a party, just to celebrate the graduate students and all the effort that they went through each semester. So those are some of the things that we try to do: social and career development events mostly.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of things and a lot of fun, but also is very, very helpful. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing all this for us. It's amazing. And I'm gonna make sure to put your names and your social media in the caption of this podcast, so everybody can look for it and reach you anytime. So changing topics for a moment, and now that you mentioned the international students, knowing that you are an international student, could you tell me a little bit about what has your experience at Hood being an international student, and what challenges have you faced, and what you have to advise for other international students?
Yes, of course. So actual um you know my actual experience as an international student is a little bit different, I think, than every other international student, just because when I first did my first master's, I wasn't an international student. And then for my second master's, I had to transfer due to visa issues to an international student. However, I am an international person here in this country, and I am an international student now. But the transition, even though it was a little bit of a tricky transition, it was very smooth. Amani, which is, she's in charge of international students. She was very, very helpful and supportive throughout the entire process, which was, as most international students know, very long and challenging and a little bit of tiring because you have to gather a lot of information, a lot of documents, a lot of signatures, and you have to go to a lot of appointments. So it can be a little bit stressing, but Amani really made that just so wonderful and so smoothly. I felt so comfortable and so safe, kind of like having her by my hand, guiding me throughout every single step. Um, and also just everyone else in the graduate school here at Hood College, they were all very helpful. Like Vanessa Solis also, she reached out a lot to me. She was also an international student, and I know that she has a lot of experience with international students, so that also felt it was a very nice comfort, and I felt very welcome and nicely supported, as well as the dean was also she would reach out if I had any questions. I would kind of always go to the dean, just because I wasn't sure who to tell. So the dean was also a great support because if she could help me, she would help me. But if she wasn't sure how a process had to be done or any specific documents, she was the one that was able to point me towards the right direction, to let me know this is the person that I need to go to. This is how I can reach them. This is where I can find them. This is exactly all the process or all the information that I needed to be able to get where I needed to be and do what needed to be done, for my process as an international student. So that was great. Um, any advice that I would have for international students, I think would definitely stay engaged. I think, like I said earlier in last question, sometimes I know it can be really hard because you are coming from a different country and you're going to be here living for 2 years or more, maybe by yourself or with your family. Maybe you're still learning the language. Maybe you're not too familiar with just general school processes because everything is different in a different country. So I would recommend them to stay as much as they could engage in school as much as they can. So for example, going to GSA events if they want, or joining a lot of clubs if they have like a specific interest that they want to. I know there's like a Bible study club or like a Latinx club or like a feminism club or reading clubs, and there's a lot of different clubs and extracurricular activities like sports as well. So I would recommend them to just get involved as much as they can with Hood College because they do have a lot of interesting opportunities or gallery displays, lunches, like the etiquette dinner that is coming up soon. So that's a lot of opportunities that really allow you to um, immerse yourself in the culture of this new country you're in so that you can understand it better and kind of make that transition from at home to this new country a little bit easier, kind of getting all of these different guides from all the different people in these different events that you can attend to. So I would definitely recommend them to stay engaged and show up, talk to people. You know, little by little, people will be like, oh, wow, it's you, it's Gabby. I saw you when we were at that luncheon in that one meeting, or when we had the talk with this doctor that came to talk to us about climate change and things like that. And that way you also start building your network bigger and bigger because you never know, when an opportunity is going to show up. So you have to, but for that, you have to make sure that you keep yourself immersed in the school and in everything.
Yeah, thank you so much for that answer. Is very useful, and I'm sure that is gonna help a lot of international students, current students now, and future international students. So thank you so much. And well, we are in the end of our interview. So I would like to ask you a last question about now, this moment, now that we are in the beginning weeks of the spring semester. I would like to ask you if you have any advice for the returning students and especially the new graduate students. You know, we are setting into the new season of learning, and there's a lot of challenges coming. So maybe you have some advices.
Yes, I would definitely recommend everyone to go to class in person as much as they can. I know that, because of the past, there's been kind of like a weird transition we've all had to go through from in person to online. And now we have to go through that transition yet again from online to in person. And I know that can be challenging for some people, but I think it's very important because specifically here at Hood College, as we were speaking or talking about earlier, how everyone is a very welcoming environment. Everyone is here to help you. No one will ever turn you away if you have questions or if you have issues. We're all here to support you as a graduate student and to make your experience better however we can. And I know that goes for, if not all the students and all the professors here in the graduate school. The advantage that Hood College has is that most of the time, classes are small or smaller. We don't have like 300 students in one class. Sometimes for very specific courses, you may have like 15 people tops, which is great. I think that's a really good advantage because that gives you an opportunity to just interact with your professor as much as you can, because those professors are connections that are important for your, not only your career but your future outside of Hood College. Maybe they can be part of your network and also just introduce you to other people that might be able to help you find better opportunities or to guide you better in something that maybe the professor themselves can't really help you, but maybe they'll say, oh, but I know this person that has worked in this, because professors have had a long life of a lot of different experiences and different jobs as well. They have been exposed to different environments and different, maybe not different cultures as well, but just different works, and they have had a chance to be out in the field. And well, for me as a scientist, I think, okay, be out in the field, do research, do whatever it is that they were doing for their thesis, for their PhDs. So they are like a barrel full of knowledge, and you really need to take advantage of that and take a dip into that barrel and just go in person, talk to your professors, make yourself heard, make yourself seen, try to participate in class as much as you can, so that if at some point you do think, oh, maybe I need like a recommendation letter for this job that's like my dream job, and I need 3 recommendations letter, when you go and approach a professor, they're not going to be, oh, who are you? Like, were you online only? Like, I couldn't see you. Your name doesn't pop out. So maybe even if they do write a recommendation letter, or if they do, help you, pointing you towards the same direction, they have a little bit more of like a little bit more body and a face to you, so that they can put that good word in and make sure, like, okay, I can vouch for this person because they have been in class, they have been very active, they have questions. Also, another advice, ask questions. Don't ever be afraid to not ask questions, because if you have a question, most likely someone else will have a question. And I know it can be intimidating, but what I do, or what I did last semester, because I was new in the environmental program and I didn't know anyone, and I get a little shy and a little anxious asking questions, as a lot of people do, I think. So I would just write them down, and at the end of the class, I would stay a little bit later with the professor, which is great because again, that one-on-one connection with your professors is so important, and you don't get a lot of chances in different schools. But Hood College is that exception, so take advantage of it. And so I would stay after school, after class, and then just ask the professor. So I did that at the beginning, and now that has kind of built my confidence, because once you go to the professor and they're like, wow, this is such a great question. I wish you would have asked this in class so that it could be clear for other students. So now that I kind of build that that courage to talk out loud in class, now this semester I'm raising my hand a lot more, posing the questions or keeping the discussion going, because it's just really important to stay engaged. So that's definitely something that I would recommend everyone do.
Thank you so much. I absolutely agree with everything that you said. I think that's very, very clear, direct, and amazing advices that you're doing. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here with us today and for all what you said. It was very, very helpful. Thank you so much, Gabby.
No worries. Thank you for having me. And to everyone listening, thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast. And I hope, your semester or job or project that you're working on goes great.
Thank you so much for listening to A Degree Further, the official podcast of the Graduate School at Hood College, where we help you go further in your life, in your career, and in your community. Be sure to tune in next time and to catch up on all the latest episodes. Visit hood.edu/a degree further. I'm your host, Mariana, and thank you so much for listening.